Good afternoon. Good seeing everyone here. I know we're going to be joined, as we always are, by a few more people. Let me go ahead and start. It is 5 minutes past the hour. I want to hold you up. I see Debbie. I see a couple other people. Always great when the president of the Board of Block Clubs of Buffalo and Erie County jumps on, and we have so many different community folks. I say that because for those who don't know me, my name is Oswaldo Mestre. I am the Executive Director of the Division of Citizen Services for the City of Buffalo. Welcome to our block chat, our community block chat that we have been doing in partnerships with the Board of Block Clubs and the City of Buffalo. Just as a reminder, we have been doing block chats for about a few years now. We started when the pandemic started, just like when there are challenges that happen to a city and to a world, and as the pandemic did. We wanted to get information out and we wanted to hear from people, but innovation happens where it's such a novel thing to know exactly what's happening in neighborhoods, but for us to push information out as well and share that, and that's how we learn, and that's why we have been continuing to do our block chats. And we've had different speakers, we've talked about different things from health to jobs, different things that make City of Buffalo work, governmental department heads, and we've had mayors come and speak, and deputy mayors and commissioners come and speak at our block chat. So again, I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you very much. I think this is just a great way to get information out by utilizing technology. So we're really knocking on your door virtually to say, hey, we're going to be talking and giving you information, and today is no different. I'm pleased about the speaker that we're having here, personally a good public servant, somebody that I've gotten to know, and just continue to be very proud of the service that he's been giving to the City of Buffalo, in his capacity as the commissioner for taxation and assessment. I know, people are like, oh, I don't want to talk to that guy, but you know what? He's probably one of the most friendliest guys, but he's actually a very straightforward person. We can't talk about the health and wealth of the city if we're not talking about assessments and taxation. That's the very mantra that helps us work to get to where we're at too. But a couple of things that's been going on with his office. I'm going to talk a little bit about that very soon, but I think it's a very important thing that we all need to know, especially if you're homeowners. And even if you're not, you should know more about what's happening, with your assessments or things in that respect too. So I am going to turn this over to Nicole. Nicole is going to give us our updates and things that are going on in the City of Buffalo. Nicole.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Director Mestre. I have a short announcement today for everyone, so just let me know when you guys can see my screen. Can you see anything? All right, hold on. It's giving me a hard time today. Technology. Here we go. Okay, so as always, that's our announcements from the Division of Citizen Services. We want to share that, of course, we are hiring for AmeriCorps Vistas, so please join our team. They make a difference in Buffalo. Obviously, participants commit to a year of service focusing on poverty alleviation, collaboration with municipal authorities, and other organizations to bring positive transformations to city neighborhoods. So if you're interested or know somebody who might be a good fit, please contact Ms. Malika D. Lee. She is our External Affairs Manager at emily@buffalony.gov, and her number is on the screen as well. Just reminding people there are different waste drop-off locations here in the City of Buffalo for electronic waste, refuse disposal, and yard waste. So please take note of this. This is publicly posted as well, and we can repost the different days and times for different garbages, and no material other than what is listed is accepted at these specific locations. We also want to remind people there is a parking enforcement reminder. So the city of Buffalo has postponed the start of the winter parking regulations until at least Sunday, December 1st. This is different information on the overnight parking and daytime parking that is also permissible on side streets. So obviously the city is going to monitor the weather forecast and review these parking needs on a weekly basis. So for more information, you can go to our city website or call the City of Buffalo Division of Parking Enforcement. There's a free shredding event and clothing recycling drive. This is happening tomorrow, actually 9 a.m. to noon at JFK Park. So the shredding event is household and personal papers only, and non-shredded materials should be recycled in your recycling tote and not brought to this event. So for more information, you can call 311 or visit buffalorecycles.org. If you know someone with a cool job and they might be interested in, or you're interested in participating in a Sedita Career Fair this spring, please reach out and scan the QR code and fill out the interest form. And the date and time of your event is to be determined based on the interest. There is one last winter preparedness series hosted by the Common Council today, actually at 5:30 to 7:30 in University District at Frederick Law Olmsted School and Suffolk Street. And so here you can register. You do get supplies, which includes a winter preparedness bag and tips and other information. If you are looking to start a block club, please contact the Buffalo and Erie County Board of Block Clubs. They're very responsive on all platforms. They have an email, a phone, and a Facebook and Instagram, and they respond on all platforms, and they can assist you in either starting up a block club or strengthening your block club and doing block club events as well. There is a Strengthening Families program hosted by the Prevention Council. It is 100% free. It strengthens parent and youth communication skills, academics, prevent substance abuse, and more. So pre-registration is required. Contact Karen Owens. And this is happening Tuesdays and Wednesdays at different times. If you are interested in going to the Crane Branch Library, Tuesday they have story time at 10:30 a.m. And this is geared for younger children, started September 3rd and is ongoing, as well as they're hosting a Lego club and they're asking for kids ages 6 to 12 every Thursday from 5 to 6. Right. So inviting my colleague Michael Smith to come up and speak for Clean Sweep season. It has concluded, and this is our 2024 Clean Sweep season. So Michael, if you do want to say something.
I don't believe it's working well. Can you guys hear me? A little bit, not really.
I don't know if it might be your mic. I don't believe we can hear you, but I do want to share that obviously we've had a record-breaking Clean Sweep season this season. There were a number of interventions and exciting new interventions included this Clean Sweep season, especially our medical model intervention, which saw a lot of actual testing come into the community and work directly with the community. So that was one great intervention, and a record-breaking number was hit this season. I do know that Michael will be talking a little bit more about this in the weeks to come and giving a little more detail on the data that we were able to gain from this Clean Sweep season and why it was so innovative. So we do want to encourage everybody to sign up for Buffalo. So please register for the city's emergency alert system to receive these notifications. You can also get a multilingual Buffalo if you do need that. And you just go to buffalony.gov/Buffalo and you can sign up, or you can text your zip code to 38276 and you will be signed up as well. And lastly, if you do follow us, thank you. And if you don't, please follow us on our Facebook at Buffalo Citizen Services and our Instagram at Buffalo 311. We also have our secondary Facebook, our 311 Call and Response Center, which is also at Buffalo 311. And if you do not follow the mayor, please follow Mayor Chris Scanlon on his Facebook page at Mayor Chris Scanlon. And we will be releasing more of our social media platforms in the weeks to come for our LinkedIn, and so that you can view our past community engagement block chats as well. Oz, I'm going to turn it back over to you now.
Listen, thank you, Nicole, and thank you for getting that information to us. I was going to do this a little later on, but I will do this now before I introduce. Um, Kudos to Mike in our clean sweep season. We had a great clean sweep season. Probably our next block chat will go over some of the results of what we've been doing. A lot of great partnerships on the way. Many of you here who are at this block chat has been at our clean sweeps. And so I can't say thank you enough. Thank you to all different department heads, to our council, um, elected officials, but more so to my staff, and the staff here at the Division of Citizen Services go above and beyond and have been able to take this to another level. We lean in forward when we talk about the residents in this community. The word citizens is part of what we do, and to serve is a part of our mantra. And I couldn't think of a better group of people to do that with, as we do that, whether it be our call takers and our operators, whether it be the people who supervise them, or the people who are out in the streets. We're talking about crime prevention, block club, talking about building communities and building in place. And so big kudos to the Division of Citizen Services, to our clean sweep staff, and to everybody that's helping in that respect. Before I bring on J-Cell, let me take this opportunity to thank somebody with the sincerest thank you that I can. Let me take this opportunity to say thank you to Nicole Brown. Nicole has done so much. And people say, why are you thanking Nicole? I think we should thank Nicole all the time, to be quite honest. But today is Nicole's last day. The work that she has been able to do in terms of the glue or the little things and the small things has just been truly remarkable. And so sometimes you see the flash and you see us, and sometimes you see at our best. It is really Nicole that has made sure that we are on point. Now, Nicole would say that she is not a public speaker. Nicole would say that, listen, she doesn't like the limelight, and she doesn't, but you can't do this work without having a love for people in the community, and you can't do that. And so I am a better person from Nicole, and how she has been able to help me personally, professionally, and how she has been able to help the Division of Citizen Services. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's switch over. The older I get, I don't know, I'm gonna get a little more savvy, especially people that I care about and has been cared about me. I think it's okay to show the human side of who and what we do is what Buffalo does. And so our next speaker is a friend, is somebody that I've seen move and work as a public servant in city government. He happens to be the commissioner of a very important department and a very important thing that we do in the city of Buffalo. Some people say it's about tax collection, about that, but it's really about equality and making sure that, we are fair in how we go about assessing levies and all of these other things. These are heavy and big words, but he's not only a decent human being, but a fair person, a family man, and somebody, again, who started working in government because he just wanted to serve. And so very challenging task, but he's up to it. Right now, we're going through reassessments and this and that. And I asked him, he reached out to me and he said, listen, I just want to make it make sense to people. I listen. Commissioner Shell knows about block clubs, he knows about community people. And so he just wanted to get an opportunity to speak, not only about what he does, but about what's happening all together. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Commissioner Jason Shell.
Thank you, Oz. Yeah, as Oz described, been in government for quite a bit of time, since 2004. Been with the city since 2008, held various, roles throughout different departments, working directly with block clubs, whether it be vacant abandoned housing or sewer or public works issues, and obviously now assessments. And, the important thing, that with the assessments is because it's very technical. And then obviously it's the bottom line, right? It's the taxes. Um, and, as we change as a city, since 2014, the pace of the city, the value of the city has outpaced assessments every year. The growth in the city, the value in the city, which historically was never, mirrored to outside, municipalities. Now we're starting to see that resurgence, 2014 to now, just like every other city in the nation. Housing, your largest asset, is now coming to value and, paying dividends. So, I reached out to, because, it's important to, engage in as many opportunities as possible to talk about not only assessments, but be available for questions and then direct people to the resources. It's one of the hardest things is the reach and the frequency of information that we have and getting it out to people. And Block Club serve that purpose because it's the word of mouth. With that, I wanted to, touch base, talk about what's going on now, talk about what's up and coming, and then obviously be available for any questions, and any information that could be provided. So I'll share my screen and I'll just walk through a couple of the resources that we have, and then just go into a little bit of detail on the with the process coming up, which is the Board of Assessment Review. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So if you go to our City of Buffalo website, go to my page, go to the 2025 reassessment project, and we have a timeline. We have a tremendous amount of resources, but I basically just want to engage in the timeline. Obviously, we've just finished up a reassessment project. Those numbers are becoming tentative for our tentative roll December 1st. This is our second one since I've been here in the department. Our last one was 2020. Values continue to increase every year. And basically the point of reassessment is that the real property tax law requires that the property tax be distributed fairly and accurately across property. And the only way we do that is we study the market and we look at what houses are selling for, what other properties, commercial properties are selling for, what kind of income apartments or retail or those office buildings are generating, which establishes their value. Residential, it's based on the market. It's based on comparable sales. So the importance of that is that in order to distribute the levy fairly across the tax base, which is the property owners, we have to go in. We have to ensure that their value is at full value, or when we have a level of assessment, which is a percentage of value, that it's equal across all properties. Because not all properties increase and decrease at the same rate, it's not as simple as saying, okay, well, if this property is just 65% of its full market value, that's not the case for everything. Some, tax neighborhoods increase faster than others, and you start getting what's called inequity in the tax roll, where tax neighborhoods, other properties are subsidizing taxes for other properties. Some are overassessed and some could be underassessed. So it's a very important process, obviously not just within the City of Buffalo. Every state in the nation, every municipality conducts these, should conduct them on a regular basis to ensure that whatever the levy will be, whatever the tax burden would be, that it's distributed fairly and accurately across the tax base based on the value of the homes. So obviously, if you're a property owner, you received a notice in the mail in September that presented the new value of the property. It compared both the previous assessed value and the new value, and then it gave a tax comparison, a hypothetical tax comparison because obviously we don't know the levy next year, but based on this year's levy, had we implemented the value in the project this year, what kind of a tax impact that would be. The obviously, anytime we do a reassessment project and majority of reassessment projects, there's always a third of properties that go up in taxes. There's a third of properties that relatively stay the same, a little bit up, a little bit, down, maybe stay the same. And then there's a third of properties that actually go down in taxes. But all property values go up. And, it's a confusing concept because it's like, how can my assessment go up but my taxes go down? And it's kind of like if you're going out to a restaurant with 3 friends and, everybody goes to the table and says, okay, I'm going to eat steak. I'm going to have, a salad, and, I'm just going to get a dessert. Well, you would think that when the bill comes that, I would pay for steak, the other person would pay for their salad, and the other pay for dessert, rather than just splitting it down the middle. Well, as the restaurant increases prices, now those items cost more money. And we just want to make sure that, if the piece of pie now is worth more than a salad, that they're paying according to the new price. That when we distribute the bill at the end of the day, that we're paying according to what that actual price is and not what we believed it used to be. And that's what happens when we're not doing regular assessments. What the value was 5 years ago is not the value of today. And unless we're doing reassessments or annual assessment, we're not capturing those value changes. And so therefore you have one party that is, paying too much and one party that is paying too little, and it's not equal. I have a really good video on our website on the main page. It kind of goes into what the assessors do. But just to talk about the reassessment project, we just went through the informal review process. Homeowners were allowed to go in and talk with the contractor about their values, submit any evidence. It's not a perfect process. We cannot go in homes. We don't know what's going on in homes. It could be raining in your living room, and we would not know that without you notifying that. So it's a 2-part partnership. It's a 2-part process. One is we notify you of your inventory, on your home, and we notify you of the value that we have, and then the homeowners, the property owners, notify us to say, hey, this condition is incorrect, or the square footage is incorrect, or hey, I don't have a garage anymore. It burned down last year. It's the give and take of this operation that makes it accurate and more accurate every year. And that's why we engage in these informal review processes when we do this, so that we can get it right. That's our job. That's what we want to do. That's ultimately, the goal of anything that we do is that we get it right and people understand not only what is happening, but what their recourse is should they disagree. So one of those opportunities, like I said, is the informal review process. The next opportunity is called the Board of Assessment Review. That's coming up December 1st through December 31st. First is a Sunday, so December 2nd, our office will begin to accept what's called grievances. And this is a process, it's an independent board that allows for property owners to grieve their property, to challenge their property if they don't agree with the value of their property. It's not an opportunity to challenge your taxes, because obviously our office doesn't set the taxes. It doesn't set the tax rate. Our office sets the value of the home. If there's a disagreement with the value of the home and there's evidence to substantiate that, again, condition of interiors, wrong square footage, inventory is incorrect, like a garage isn't there anymore that's being accounted for. Those are opportunities for individuals to meet with the BAR, the Board of Assessment Review. It's an independent panel of, citizens of Buffalo that, have real estate experience. They listen to the grievance, and then they make a determination on the value and then notify our office to make changes. So that process is December 2nd through December 31st. You can submit grievances, and then they schedule hearings in January through mid-February. The disclosure notices and the value, obviously, because the city of Buffalo is changing so much and so fast, it's shocking, to a lot of people. How can my property be worth X last year and be worth Y this year? And going back to the point is, if we're not capturing value annually, that value is changing every year. It's just that we're not accounting for it unless we're capturing the value through reassessment. So, if my property was increasing in value every year, and it was increasing in value at a larger pace than everybody else, and we weren't capturing the value of my property, other areas would be subsidizing my taxes. And when we finished the project in 2020, the goal was to start with annual reassessment, so that way we didn't have that inaccuracy throughout the roll, and that the distribution was fair. And what happened was COVID happened. That took out operations of many government operations, but particularly our office, is that we couldn't do a lot of stuff from home, and then getting into it, we couldn't do a lot of stuff, engage contractors, go into neighborhoods, to where be in cars at the same time. So it limited what we could do as far as reassessment. The other thing is the market changed so dramatically during that time, not only in Buffalo, but throughout the nation, that it was simply too large because it was across the whole city. The value increased double digits across the whole city within 2 years, that we had to engage a contractor. So, engaging a contractor, 6-month process to get the contract. And then we started the reassessment project in 2023, January, and then we just finished it this year. So values for this are going into effect for the tentative December 1st. Individuals can go to our City of Buffalo website, the property information website, look up their value, file grievances if they want to. Those determinations will be final on March 1st. And then those values established in our final assessment roll will then populate tax bills for the city July 1st, 2025, September 1st for sewer rent, obviously December 1st for the second installment, and then January 1st of 2026 for county taxes. There's a lot of resources that I wanted to get into, particularly around the reassessment, that I want to make sure that you guys as Block Club leaders know about, that have a lot of good explanations for individuals. We went through the preliminary assessment disclosure. Here's some samples, but how does reassessment affect me? This is a great document with some popular questions about why assessments are going up so much. How can I talk to the city about lowering my assessment? What should I do if I don't make enough money to pay my city taxes? What if I still have tax? If I get all the, what if I get all the benefits that are out there, but I still can't? Very informative document that individuals can go to, learn more about that process. Another popular one that I put out this year is, are you paying too much in taxes? Which I thought is, where are we? People asked, why would you say something like that? And I said, well, I say something like that because I want to make sure people know that, they should only pay their fair share. And I think it's confusing for a lot of people that, might not know exactly, how to ensure they're not paying too much taxes. the document, as soon as I find it, is, it's very informative in all of, particularly how you can grieve your property, how you can look up your property's inventory, how you can see if you're receiving all the exemptions you're supposed to, how you can, challenge your property and all the various steps. I'm sorry, I'm just looking for this document because it's a very good document, and I'm gonna have to just go into my thing here and pull it up. But it goes along with not just sitting in City Hall and assuming people, know what we do and how we do it, but more importantly, know what their avenues are for getting more information, for taking the situation into our own hands, using the resources available, or us as resources to both understand reassessment, understand property ownership, understand values, but understanding the recourses and resources available to them that they can go to for to either look at their property or to lower, have their property values lowered. So this is the document, Are You Paying Too Much in Taxes? Really, we talk about what property tax is all about. We talk about exemptions. We talk about how to check the accuracy of your assessment with the property inventory. We talk about researching comparable properties. We talk about the evidence that you could use. We talk about the different ways of assessment and how and why you would challenge your assessment. We talk about the different types of grievance and appeals processes. Generally throughout the year, any person can walk in our office and say, I don't agree with this. You have this inventory incorrect. I do not have this. My square footage is not this. I just, all this water damage just happened to my house. My ceilings are falling down. My foundation is cracked. Whatever it is, you can come in our office and notify the assessor, and we can make avenues to do that before we get to tentative and before they have to actually go through a formal process to challenge. That's called the assessor review. The informal review session is something that we do during reassessment projects. We just completed that. That's when you meet with the contractor. And the board of assessment review process, which we just discussed, is occurring coming up December 1st. And it talks about all the information. And then finally, the small claims assessment review. If you go to board of assessment review and you don't get the relief that you believe you're entitled to, you can actually go to the small claims, which essentially is a lawsuit against the city through the Erie County Clerk's office. And then you can meet with a different officer and go that avenue, meet with an independent hearing officer and with an assessor from our department, and then they'll make a determination on value. I just saw a question. I don't know how to get to this.
I can just ask you.
Yes, please.
Someone was just wondering, is this assessment process both for private properties, and do you assess the business? Like, is it also for business properties?
So the reassessment project engaged all 93,649 properties throughout the city. The approach to valuation is different though. So depending on what type of property you have, residential 1, 2, 3 units are based on a sales approach. It's based on comparable sales within like comparable tax neighborhoods. Commercial is based on income, where what income are those properties generating? Primarily income. Some that don't generate income are based on sales, but primarily apartments, rental, like any type of strip malls or commercial buildings that have tenants. There's industry, dollar amounts for rental units within commercial districts, assessing districts that establish the value for those buildings. And then they pay taxes according to that income and that value. And then you get into, cost approach, which is basically the cost of building a structure, which is, comparable sometimes to, maybe industry or some shell buildings, that are just built and not established. But a lot of times, sales is your most popular. It's based on square footage. It's based on comparable sales with comparable attributes. So generally, similar properties selling for similar amounts establish value. So that is, again, just a let me get back to my other slide here. An example of some of the resources, a very powerful resource, I think, because it engages people with, a path to ensure they're only paying their fair share of taxes. And that's the bottom line, the goal is what we want. The city of Buffalo is set up in what's called tax neighborhoods. This map, again, is available online. And how we come up with this neighborhood, again, is looking at similar properties selling for similar amounts in similar areas. We look at a bird's eye view. We have, 2 singles, doubles, triples in this area sell for this range. And then what we do is we couple those together so that we're not comparing apples to oranges. We wouldn't compare, a neighborhood, from West Buffalo to the neighborhood East Buffalo, or a neighborhood not North Buffalo, neighborhood South Buffalo. Each of those areas are, do I want to include computer audio? I should. Sorry, it's talking to me. So each one of these neighborhoods is established by looking at values and looking at areas and determining what like properties sell. And that way, when we do the analysis, the valuation, we ensure that, yes, we are comparing apples to apples. Similar properties and similar conditioning selling for similar amounts. Some of the other things that I have is the property record card instructions. This is a presentation on how to go to our property record card website, look up the inventory for your property or any other property, and ensure that that's correct. There's also information sessions from the reassessment project, which I have here. These are ones that we went out in the community and we talked about the project. These are slide presentations from that. And I will be uploading this presentation, which I can jump into a little bit, which talks about the Board of Assessment Review and how to challenge your property. Gives people instructions on how to fill out the sheet, so on and so forth. But the important kind of uses of our office are going to be, the 2025 reassessment project, the property information, which are conveniently on the front page. This video, I think, is just informative for anybody. But the property information takes you to the website. Type in your address. It brings up your property. It'll tell you all the information, ownership. It'll tell you the assessed value. It'll tell you any exemptions you have, land value. It'll tell you your building details. This is your inventory, and this is what you're going to be assessed on, right? So your square footage, your condition, the quality of your construction, condition down here. It'll give you, a history of sales. But then you can click up here, right, to this button called Find Comparables, and it will take you to our Comper site. It starts off with an introductory website of how to use, or introductory video of how to use the website. And then, unfortunately, can't find the web page. I'll just click on a random property.
On talking.
So you would click your property, obviously City Hall doesn't have any comparables, but you just type in your property and it will show you comparable properties within your tax neighborhood. Here's the boundaries of the tax neighborhood. These are the comparable properties. You can go through and you can select the comps you want, right? And then you can generate a document, that will, set them, organize them to where, put them line by line. You can compare, square footage. You can compare, condition. You can compare, any type of, if it's a 220, which is a double, you want to make sure you compare doubles to doubles and not doubles to singles. And then you can present this document to help you find comparables. You can present that both to our office or to the Board of Assessment Review. And you say, hey, listen, this is what properties like mine are selling for. And my assessment we have as X, and these properties are selling for Y. I think mine is over assessed. So it's another tool that came out of the 2020 reassessment project where people had a hard time, both understanding on how to go about the process of finding comparables, but also where to go to it. So we implemented this tool for this project to give people that opportunity to have that convenience. So two powerful tools, both the property information and then the Comp for Citizens, which establishes comp properties. Finally, I just want to kind of just briefly walk through this. Obviously, I'm not going to go in detail. How much time do I have?
Let's see, probably like maybe another 10 minutes, like
Oh, okay.
12:55. Sound good?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I just don't
Okay.
want to take up too much time.
I'm sorry.
I told him 12:55 and he's cut off.
Okay, you got some time. A little bit.
All right, yeah.
What do you think, Bo?
So this is really about what's happening next, and this is important because we want to make sure that people understand if they didn't go into the informal review, or if they did and they get their results December 2nd from the contractor and they say, nope, don't like it. This is their next course of appeals, right? This is their next action they could take to appeal their property. So this is a document. It talks about my role, our department's role, in setting values, the approaches that we use. It talks about the key points, only what we're trying to do and why, fair assessments are necessary, how we come about them, how market value is determined, what drives the market, several different, variables. The important question, is the market value that we have, reasonable of what you think you could sell it for? I know a lot of people probably aren't looking at the sales in Sunday's paper every week, and we're surprised that properties are selling. I know a lot of people might say, well, hey, those aren't real sales, but, with the exception of a couple things, what willing buyers and willing sellers are doing in an open market, which means a house that is actually exposed to a market, has been listed, had ample opportunity for competition, that drives value. It's just like a stock market. It's just like whatever it is. As those exchanges happen, all we do is look at the exchanges and say that this type of property, right, is worth X amount because this is what the market is showing. And therefore, similar properties to that, are worth that because the market has demonstrated that over and over and over again. We talk about, it shows a slide just about the inequitable, to where when we talk about we're not doing annual, these are similar properties, but, you can see property B, is assessed at 200, but the full market value is actually 250,000. Property A is assessed at 200, but the full market value is 300,000. Now, without doing reassessment, we're not capturing that full market. They're both paying taxes on 200,000, but actually property A is being subsidized by property B. Property B should be paying less taxes. Property A should be paying more. And that gets into why we do these. You know, it talks about property taxes are based on assessed value. It's important that we get it correct. But the property taxes come from the levy, depending on what the levy is. Market value is defined again by buyers and sellers in the market, and we only want to pay our fair share. That's my interest in it, to make sure that I'm the referee in this. I want to make sure that anybody that is paying is only paying their fair share. It gets into the resources. Again, I just went through our website, the property record, you know, Comparable for Citizens. Talks about how to select it, what's important in selecting, you know, comparable sales. We get into challenging, you know, this is again geared around the Board of Assessment review, talks about the Board of Assessment, talks about the, you know, the grievance process, the timeline, everything. You know, what Board of Assessment is, what kind of grounds, again, why you should challenge. Again, a little more detail about each one, defining them. Instructions about the form, shows the form, you know, how to fill out each one. You know, it's confusing. It's a 2-page front and back form, and you know, you got technical lingo. This breaks it down to what exactly you should be writing on here, or anybody should be writing on here. Valuable resource, again, you know, we're available. We want to make sure this is pushed out so people can understand it. You know, additional appeals we get into, obviously, after this, the small claims assessment, which is called SCAR, I touched on. But then the milestones, you know, really what's coming up and when the impact is going to occur. And then finally, you know, the additional resources. These all have links established. I'm going to have to do them separately on my webpage, just because this is a PDF, and for some reason I can't convert links to PDF. So I'll find a way to do it, even if I just have to keep it not nice like this. But these will be links that people can click on to take them directly to the form, directly to the instruction sheet, directly to the property information, whatever it is, the resource that I believe is useful to anybody to use. You know, that way, again, it's just trying to get the message out to everybody that these resources are available. And again, we only want to make sure that your assessment is accurate, and that you know what to do if you believe that it's not, and how to go about establishing, you know, evidence, you know, to provide that. With that, I'll open up for questions.
Okay, just want to see if any questions. I know, Jay, when you mentioned, I want to take you back from the beginning. You made this assessment where people going out, taking people, you know, 3 people at a dinner. I got to remember next time that when we either go to lunch or dinner that you will pay for it, you know. But this interesting thing about steak and salad, I think we make the assumption that it's going to steak, but you're saying that everything is going to go up. You know, maybe at one point in time, what it costs to do the salad is going to be more than it does with the steak, you know. And I think we think about that. We look at that, and then we look and we see that equation. So I really like that analogy.
I'll touch more on that analogy is, you know, say for instance, everybody decides to get healthy and not eat red meat, and everybody goes to buy salads now. That's the market, right? So everybody's driving up the price of salads because of demand, supply and demand. So now supply goes down, salads gets more expensive than steak. And unless the company's charging for that, right, the steak's still paying more. You know, so it depends on what the supply is, and what the demand for that supply is going to determine market value. And that's what it's all about. It's just making sure that we're capturing those changes to make sure that anybody that is at that table that's responsible for sharing that bill is paying their fair share. Great,
great. Listen, any other questions? I will say this, Jay, thank you very much, Commissioner Shell. I will say this, his office is on the first floor of City Hall. His staff are very customer friendly, and he is always accessible, him and his deputy commissioners and all of the staff. If you have any questions, you can give him a call, make a presentation at a community meeting. He's available. He's been in different councilmatic districts make presentations on this. This is important, folks. You know, this is what makes city government and how we are able to do the services that we do, making sure that there's equity along the line on everywhere too. So again, Jay, thank you very much.
Yeah, and I just want to make one more point. I didn't touch on it. It's I can never touch on it enough. Is this the exemptions and the exemption deadlines? The exemption deadline is December 1st, and very important exemption. A couple of them that are that had changed recently is the senior low income. Combined household of $58,400 or less ranges from 5% to 50% off assessed value, and it titles 40% off your water bill. Very important if individuals that qualify for that don't know to contact us prior to December 1st so that we can get them on those exemptions, especially in years where value is shifting and properties are going up. The other thing is the STAR program. New York State has a STAR program. Previous homeowners, it's applied as an exemption, but new homeowners, it's a rebate check. Those values are changing. So first, the income limit went up to $107,300 for enhanced STAR. So if you're a senior over the age of 65 and combined household is less than that, you're entitled to that. And that's going to be an $84,000 exemption this year, going up from $39,000. Basic STAR is if you make less than $500,000 combined household, that's going to be up from $12,000 or $14,000 to $30,000 this year. So I run into people all the time that do not have those exemptions. We want to push those, as well as other things like disability exemptions, veterans exemptions, all those. So December 1st, more information is on not only on our website, but also on just by picking up the phone and asking us. There was a question about the where the information for the presentation is. That's in our website under 2025 reassessment project and under resources under here. So we have information sessions right here. I have both the first information slides narrated. You can have it speaking or just a slideshow, and then the second round, which is what we completed this year, which talks more about the informal review process and kind of what to expect. So yeah, that's a wrap.
Good. Thank you very much, Jay. Hey, great presentation. Debbie, I'm going to turn this over to you. I have to run somewhere at 1 o'clock. I'll let you do your thing.
Yep. Jason, if you could somebody asked about the links for the STAR program and the senior discount STAR exemption. If you could just throw it in the chat if you have it, great. First and foremost, thank you to everybody for joining us today. Oz had to run off. We want to say a special thank you to Nicole on behalf of the Board of Block Clubs of Buffalo and Erie County. She's a great asset to us over the past few years. So we wish her all the best and a lot of luck in whatever her next adventure in life may be. I'm sure she'll still be around, but sending much love to you, Nicole. Board of Block Clubs is not meeting in the next 2 months, so it's holiday time, so we'll be back in January in full swing. So please like our Facebook page. You'll see many updates there, and we will keep our Facebook page going all the time with any type of information that comes our way, any events. Tonight is the last winter preparedness, so I hope that you all can make it tonight and head over there. Kudos to the council on a wonderful winter preparedness. I've been to most of them, and they have been wonderful and well attended. And basically, as Oz goes, he likes to end by 1 o'clock. So if there's no other questions, thank you, Jason. He did put the information in the chat if you guys want to grab it. If nobody has any other questions or anything, I would say we're right on schedule. We thank you for joining us today. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and hopefully we'll be back on the block chat before the holiday. Take care, everybody, and have a good day. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, guys.